ability to be great. You have to be willing to activate the great from within. It starts with you, and it starts right now. Yo, back in the mix with Tyler Davis.
Greg Thomas, how you doing, man?
Oh, in the house.
Yeah,
Ready
man.
to go, baby.
Always.
I try to sit down this week, try to contain it a little bit, make it a little bit more conversational, but this one's got me,
Sometimes you got to let it out.
Oh, dude, it feels like a muzzle.
Just let it
it's
flow.
Like, sometimes you just got to let it go, right?
You do.
Oh, yeah. What we need to let go of are, like, the old fiber optics, the things that we're, like, just getting tethered to. I mean, sitting here, listening to Atomic Habits, that book is really just getting me,
Eye-opening.
Unbelievably, the compound effect. I mean, like, we know what that means when we say it out loud, but do you know what it means?
Mm-hmm. 1% better every day.
I mean, it's like, if you're leaving LA, right, and the nose is off 3 degrees, you're going to end up in Charlotte.
Right.
You're not going to New York anymore. You know what I mean? And it's just a little bit.
Tiny course corrections. I remember I was reading a book one time, and they were talking about if you're driving down a straight road and you hold the steering wheel completely straight, eventually you're going to run off the road.
Yeah.
Tiny course corrections, but it's the only way you're going to hit the mark.
There you call them atomic at the particle level.
Yeah, man. But that's what it is.
Oh, for real. It is. But I think sometimes, this is in that vein of like feeling like you know everything, versus like breaking it down, maybe just realizing you know a little bit less, 1% at a time or one opportunity at a time.
Yeah, man.
Kind of walk around kind of with this, I got this swagger or this doesn't apply to me kind of, strut and it does.
Right. And it's good to have that kind of confidence, but at the same time, you got to be humble enough to know, like, hey, there are things that I'm still unaware of, and I got to be open to that.
I mean, I think when you admit you don't know everything, you really open up the understanding of most things.
Oh, man, that's when the floodgates open.
Well, you want to be a sponge, right? We want to stay childlike. We want to have this curiosity. Well, stop acting like you arrived.
Well, yeah, a sponge that's already full can't suck nothing else up.
No. I mean, what are you going to do?
It's full.
It is.
Glass is full. Can't add to it.
So add something to your day every day, like this podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you. Like, listen, share, tell your friends. We got some swag out there, too. We're going to be selling that a little bit at our spring scramble coming up, which is going to be good. Bringing some money for junior golf, so we're excited about that. And that's a great sport, too, for life, by the way. If you haven't really gotten into golf, doesn't matter how bad you are, you're going to find out a lot about yourself. So, maybe just hit the driving range or indoor simulator. Just get out there and swing some clubs and have some fun and just see what you can find out about yourself. And you will need to get better incrementally.
Oh, man. Something's going to happen.
Oh, it don't happen overnight.
No,
you got to get your reps in. But, today, what we want to talk about, 3 reasons when you admit that you don't know everything, you allow people to see that you understand most things.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Like, hey, I'm willing to listen.
That's a big part of it. Man, can I be quiet long enough to listen and learn something?
You don't know what you don't know.
Mm-mm.
What are you doing? Like, I mean, you're some type of like, savant. Like you just knew everything without having to get your reps in, and like all of a sudden you arrive somewhere.
Yeah, it's not the Matrix. You can't sit down and download a new program of all the things you don't know.
Well, I think you get caught up like in thinking about like, oh, I can't believe I don't understand this. So how are you ever gonna?
Right. Break it down to the fundamentals.
Well, yeah, like starting a baseline.
Yep.
0.
Mm-hmm.
I have 0 understanding of this situation, so maybe I should just not react.
Yeah. Pause. Where can I find a resource to where I can learn about this?
Oh, exactly. A little pause for the cause, right?
Yeah.
Help yourself, before you wreck yourself. Like when you're like wrecking relationships or an opportunity to learn, opportunity to improve, maybe an opportunity to get humbled a little bit, realizing that you got to slow down to speed up sometimes.
Yeah. All these things that we talk about.
Oh.
I mean, got to know what you don't know. That way you can be open to it, learn, grow from it.
Open. Being open, right? Like really just saying, hey, you know what? I am going to remove myself from the situation and just really look at it objectively and not like someone's trying to attack me or, trying to school me or trying to put me in my place. I think we go to those spots from a, fight or flight mechanism versus just surrendering.
Right.
Like, oh, hey, you know what? Here's an opportunity to learn.
Yeah. And be excited about that. Like, it's really cool to learn something new every single day. I think we both have been around certain people that they educate themselves on all kinds of different topics just because they enjoy the process of learning, which goes back to the fall in love with the process.
Why not educate yourself on something? I'll nerd out on just about anything, just because I'd rather watch that. I'm in love with what I don't know, right?
Yep.
And that's the thing is, I think there's this negative connotation that comes with ignorance. Mm-hmm. And by definition, it just means you don't know.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you're stupid.
No, No, man, and we're all wired different. Like my kids and I will talk about reading and books and things like that because it's powerful. It's helped me grow a lot. I enjoy reading things that are not stories, are not fables. They're like, they help me learn. They help my mind grow. It keeps me captivated, and they look at me like I'm crazy.
Well, I think it's from a sociology standpoint, like, we are creatures of habit, repetitive in nature, and we haven't evolved as far as people like to think. You look back on history and you see the same things happening right now. They just have a different label, have a different way of spinning it, different way of collaborating with other countries and doing things, and have, almost like a new world order. Oop, I said it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You put yourself in this place of where you stop learning, you stop educating yourself, and you're going to be less relatable is what you're going to be.
Yeah, man, it's mind-blowing to me, at least, like when I read the Bible, or I read the Stoics and all the teachings of thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
Same things we're dealing with today.
Same.
Yeah.
It's because, we haven't really gotten over ourselves yet, and we'll kind of get into that a little bit here later. But back to number one, you don't know what you don't know. I mean, fall in love with learning again. You want to feel like you're 5 years old? Surrender to this truth. Number two, when you think you know it all, you stop learning.
Absolutely. Right there. Hard stop.
And then you have to ask your question is, why do I feel like I am absolved from being a lifetime learner?
Yeah, man. That's when things start feeling like Groundhog Day, like we've talked about. It's like because you put the roadblock in front of yourself.
And then what happens? You start getting resentment. Then you start detaching yourself from other people. You start having to have these separating thoughts and statements. When you see people leveling up, you can't even be happy for them.
Right. Yeah, that's when you start pointing fingers and things like that. Instead of just kind of reflecting and pointing the finger back at yourself and be like, well, okay, what happened?
When did I stop learning?
Yeah.
And then now what? Everything just happens to you now?
Right.
You're not the accelerant. You're not throwing kerosene on your own fire in between your ears.
Yeah.
You don't getting stuck in your head.
You have to.
Oh, come on, man. Why don't you do some replacement therapy?
Show up.
Oh,
Show up. It's a conversation
anywhere.
I had not too long ago with I had a pair of shoes made for myself because I need that. And on the back of it, it says show up. And why is that? Because every day I need the reminder to myself to keep learning, keep growing. It's the disciplined actions repeated every single day.
It's a habit stack, man.
Yeah.
That's something like within Atomic Habits, they sit there and just, I haven't read the book completely, but that's where I'm at right now, and I'm loving this. So, like, when you start thinking about, look at the opposite, the negative habit stack that you're doing when you consciously or subconsciously stop learning.
Yep. Yeah, man.
What direction? You can only go down.
Yeah.
You're never going to have a different level of fulfillment.
Or flatline. And what happens when you flatline? You're dead.
You did.
And
then what? I just think, we just need to get over ourselves as a whole. You know what I mean? And why is it like, if it's ever been a cool time to know stuff, it's now.
Oh.
I see the kids now, it's way different. It's cool to be smart. Like back in the day, if you raise your hand, you're like, hey, I want one, but he's like, dude, put your hand down.
Yeah, right.
That was Zach, actually, dude. Like, it was crazy. We're sitting there.
Yeah, we don't do that.
Hey, no. Hey, shush.
Yeah,
that's not cool. It's not cool to know the answer.
Right. And now
it is.
Yep.
So we need to have a paradigm shift as adults. That way you can kind of ride this euphoric wave, this childlike curiosity wave with your children, with the next generation.
Yes.
And you let go.
Yes.
The past is the past. Take the best and leave the rest. Let's go. Let's start something different.
real.
Start learning.
Yep. I've told my wife many times, like, I've learned more from my kids than I can ever help to teach them.
It's all about vantage point.
Yeah.
Right? We're at a certain point in our life and you start seeing those things and you're like, I'm glad you didn't have to work through that.
Right.
You make me want to do something to make myself better, even though I'm not at the epicenter of it. That's what children do for you. Hopefully what they do for you. They make it,
well said.
They get to a point where it's like, hey, look, this is more than you. And because of the way some of us are wired, it has to be about other people before we can love ourselves enough to make it about us.
Yep.
Start learning. Love yourself. Read a book. Watch a documentary.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a lot of cool ish out there that
is.
just gets that brain firing, and wiring, and you just start making new synapses, that whole axon dendrite connection, baby.
It is,
Come
man.
on.
I mean, when you sit there and review your screen time, what are you spending it on? Man, you got access to any kind of knowledge, any kind of anything.
I would spend
Utilize it.
Well, I would say, let's start taking inventory of what you're already making time for.
That's a big thing. 24 hours.
You sitting there talking about, like, you got 7, 8, 9 hours of screen time, but you didn't have 45 minutes to get a workout in. You couldn't watch a documentary. You're just sitting here doing this zombie-like scanning, like the Matrix just got you at that point. So, but that's what happens when you stop learning. So, when you think you know it all, you stop learning. Not to mention it gives you some things to talk about. Okay, like
For real.
conversation pieces that are interesting. You
Yep.
know, and you get to share a little bit about yourself when you share something you're excited about. Like, hey, look what I just learned.
That's one of my favorite things that I've learned over the years of doing sales is I'll ask somebody a question and then I'll say, tell me more about that. And then I just be quiet. Because, man, it's amazing when somebody's passionate about something, they will tell you all about it. And then I learned something.
For sure. And we have all kinds of opportunities to hold space, and we're definitely that's gonna be a topic, here real soon, just because there's a lot to that. So number 3, there is only one all-knowing being. Okay, I don't care what sect, okay, or what denomination or whatever it is. Okay, there is only one omniscient being.
There's only one.
There's only one. So all the people out there, including my 15-year-old at times, you don't know everything, son.
Right.
Okay? Nobody does.
Nobody does.
Nobody does.
And why would you put that kind of pressure on yourself? Come on, man.
I think that folks just need to start with learning the definition of omniscient.
Yeah.
It's all-knowing, right? I have a great story, former coworker. This dude, good dude, right? And we're sitting there, and I said, well, it's not like you're omniscient. He goes, what's that mean? Ironically, it means all-knowing.
Right.
We had a little laugh about it.
It is.
I mean? But I think we just spend some time on that learning tip and dive into what an all-knowing being really is. And then you start asking yourself, do I really come off like that?
Right.
Pretty powerful.
It is.
So I'll challenge everybody that's sitting here listening that does not know what omniscient is or have never heard that word to Google it.
Look
okay?
it up.
GTS, okay? And start looking at that definition and start buying in and surrendering to the fact that you're not supposed to know everything.
No, man.
You're supposed to be open to new things, okay? That is the human experience.
And that's what.
Why are we shortchanging ourselves, man? We're robbing ourselves.
Right. This whole human experience thing is about the experience of it, learning new things, having fun with it.
Oh.
I mean, like you have said many times, the childlike curiosity.
Yes.
But at some point we stop that. But why?
Okay.
Always ask why.
Martyr bonus,
Right.
life, all these mental barriers we create in our mind on why we can't stay a certain way, all this, expectations from other people that we surrender to, but we don't surrender to ourselves
Right.
and what we want and what's best for us. And you just try to do it, as early as you can in life.
Yeah, we fall into it. I myself have been guilty of using the word busy. That specific word is something that I have tried to remove from my own vocabulary.
Absolutely.
And catch myself when somebody else is like, well, why this, why that, why? Because I'm too nope, not gonna.
We talked about that a long
Yeah.
time ago, man.
Right.
Like where we're sitting there, you start telling yourself that, then what you're saying is you replace that, replacement therapy, right?
Yeah.
I'm always ready for my next opportunity.
Exactly, because it's the same thing as stop learning. The minute I say I'm too busy, I'm done learning. I put a
Right.
cap on myself.
Oh, you absolutely have. And then if you're not paying attention, the compound effect of that, day over day over day,
Yes.
month over month over month, year over year over year, all of a sudden you might end up having a bad attitude. Okay, and the seeds of dissension can grow strong if you let them. I mean, you sit and let it go, and you let it go, let it go, and you don't address it.
It becomes something
Oh.
of its own.
Oh, it does. It totally takes on a life of its own.
Yep.
And you don't want that because that's a distraction and it robs you from the present.
Yep, and that's
Right.
where you go back to giving it to that all-knowing.
God's plan, man.
yeah.
And whatever that means to you. I'm not sitting here trying to act like I'm this religious person because I'm not, but I am a very spiritual person, and
Right.
I can't quote the Bible, okay? But I do know that there's something bigger than me, all right? And there is a plan in place, and you're not just here to be a bump on the log. You're not just here to have 9 hours of screen time.
Coincidences are not just coincidences.
Nah, coincident.
Yeah.
There's a reason there, okay? Maybe you should just start giving it some credence and have some fun in the space, like in the euphoria of the unknown.
Yeah.
Identify with the unknown. So, again, 3 reasons. When you admit you don't know everything, it shows you understand most things. Number 1, you don't know what you don't know.
And be cool with that.
Right. Where do we start activating the ego on that? Like where you feel like you got something to prove in an unwarranted scenario or situation.
Activate the ego is the opposite of activate the great.
Oh, dude, hey, it's activate separation anxiety. It's like,
Yeah.
Or then you end up getting sad, social anxiety disorder. Next thing you know, you're in more space in your head, right?
Yeah.
And, it's just not good. Just stop being a know-it-all. Number 2, when you think you know it all, you stop learning.
Yep.
And why? Who's that good? You're telling me that we can't keep learning all the time? We can't just be a sponge? You know what? I'll tell you, you want the fountain of youth? Keep learning.
Yes, for real.
You
right
want
there.
energy? Keep learning. Keep learning new stuff, because our brain's like a Ferrari and we're driving it like a Pinto.
Right. Yeah, man.
It's like almost like, Amish style.
Put that high
horse
octane
buggy
in there.
Oh, dude, come on, man. Like, let that brain run. Let it go. Let it, try to get to 12% of efficiency. Try to get that number. Move it up.
Yep.
So don't stop learning. Pick up a book. Do whatever it takes. Watch a documentary. Just keep expanding your mind. And lastly, there's only one all-knowing being. We need to stop ourselves. Look up omniscient. Read that definition. And ask yourself, do I come off this way? And if you do, stop.
Yeah. Simple as that. First thing is becoming aware.
Oh.
Self-awareness, man.
You got to want it.
You do.
You got to want it, man.
You do. And then you have to take action.
Like, just encourage everybody, 1 to 2 to 3% a day, learn something to be on that trajectory, right? Let's get better. Let's get motivated. Let's get over ourselves.
Do it.
And make it happen, baby. We'll catch you next week. Want to take a quick minute to thank our sponsor, ccmindiana.com, for all your mortgage needs. Very competitive, ready to rock, ready to help you be a pre-approved buyer that can compete. Ready to get pre-approved for your next mortgage? Stop by ccmindiana.com and see how we can help.